Welcome to Municipal Affairs. In today's episode, we are talking about a major step forward in Alberta's policing landscape, the appointment of a new chief for the Independent Agency Police Services. It's the latest move to give municipalities more options when it comes to local policing, while also supporting public safety efforts across the province, according to the Premier of Alberta, Danielle Smith.
It is great to be here with Mike Ellis, our Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Services, Nolan Dick, our Parliamentary Secretary for Indigenous and Rural Policing, Jack Van Ryn, Mayor of Coaldale, and Satpal Singh Parhar, a veteran Calgary police officer. We promise to improve policing in the province so that it works better on the streets and behind the scenes. And we did that because Albertans deserve to feel safe no matter where they live. And because Ottawa has indicated that it's rethinking the RCMP's responsibilities and may change them once the current police services agreements end in 2032. So I'm pleased to say that we have taken some major steps to deliver on our promise. We have formally created the Alberta Sheriff's Police Service to be headquartered right here in Calgary. And to be clear about its intended purpose, the Alberta Sheriff's Police Service is not meant to replace the RCMP or any other police service. It will work alongside existing branches of law enforcement to fill gaps and ensure that resources are used efficiently. And just like most other police services in the province, it'll be run separately from the government with civilian oversight. Today, roughly 80% of Albertans are already served by local non-RCMP municipal police services, such as in Calgary, Edmonton, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, as well as the recently established police service in Grand Prairie, along with others. And I'm also happy to announce that we are appointing Satpal Singh Parhar as Chief of the Alberta Sheriff's Police Service. Chief Parhar spent more than 25 years with the Calgary Police Service. Yeah! He's also done frontline policing in every corner of this city. He rose through the organization to reach the rank of deputy chief, and he's won quite a few distinctions over the course of his career. Chief Parhar has the right mix of experience and leadership to steer this new agency, and his first responsibilities will be recruiting an executive team as well as building connections with the existing network of Alberta law enforcement organizations. Threats to public safety are always shifting, and the federal government could decide to redirect the RCMP away from contract policing. So Alberta's government is preparing and acting instead of waiting and reacting. Our goal is to put solutions in place before serious challenges develop. And now I'd like to ask Minister Mike Ellis to share a few more details about our approach and Alberta's newest law enforcement agency.
The new chief, Dale Parhar, brings over 25 years of policing experience to the role, including senior leadership positions within the Calgary Police Service. Most recently, he served as deputy chief, experience that puts him in a strong position to guide the new agency as it begins its works. Once fully operational, though, the Independent Agency Police Services, or IAPS, will enhance Alberta's existing police framework. Now, according to the province, it will not replace the RCMP or municipal forces, but rather it will fill in the gaps, particularly in rural areas where faster response times are critical.
So I want to begin by saying how honored I am to be appointed as the inaugural chief of the new Independent Agency Police Service. It's a tremendous responsibility and opportunity to help build something brand new, something forward-looking, something that reflects the needs and values of Albertans. As many of you know, I spent more than 25 years in policing. Like so many officers, I started on the front lines, learned from my colleagues, responded to calls, experienced the reality of police firsthand, and I made some mistakes. I still remember those early days engaging with people in crisis and realizing that sometimes the most meaningful thing we can do is to show up and listen. Those early experiences shaped how I approach policing ever since. With empathy, humility, and deep respect for the trust of Albertans and keeping them safe. The same mindset will guide me in this new role. I also know that policing has become much more complex. The pressures placed on officers to meet the diverse needs of community can be overwhelming. It's different from when I first started. This requires commitment and strong leadership. I know that this support will lead to the best outcomes for all communities we are part of and the communities we serve. This is a rare opportunity for Alberta to build a modern, professional police service from the ground up. one that works alongside existing law enforcement partners, supports our communities, and helps strengthen public safety across the province. My commitment is to lead with integrity, to listen carefully, and to build a service that's ready to serve every part of Alberta. From rural and urban to Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities, and from communities in the far north that stretch all the way down to the Alberta and the US border. In the months ahead, I will be focused on several priorities: assembling a strong and experienced executive team, developing clear standards for recruitment, training, and accountability, and building the operational foundation needed to deliver safe, effective policing that Albertans can count on. I do know that public trust is not a given. It's something we earn through consistent, principled service every day. While we are still in the early stages, I can say with confidence that we are building a police service that reflects Alberta, its people, its communities, and its future. To everyone who helped bring us to this point, the Oversight Board, government partners, and public safety colleagues, thank you. And to Albertans, I look forward to earning your trust and working together as we build this service. With that, I'd like to welcome the Mayor of Coaldale, Jack Van Ryan, to the podium.
The IAPS was officially established following the passage of the Public Safety Statutes Amendment Act 2024, operating as an independent Crown corporation. It will be renamed as the Alberta Sheriff's Police Services, which the head office will be located in Calgary. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. It will also function with civilian oversights and full operational independence from the provincial government, in line with other police services within the province. One supporter of the move was Coaldale Mayor Jack Van Ryan.
Mayor Van Ryan, thank you so much for chatting with me. We are just after the event here at McDougall Centre around community policing and keeping communities safe with the provincial government. What brings you here, and why is it important for a mayor from Coaldale to be advocating around municipal issues right now?
Well, to begin with, I have to be clear when I say that we do not have any concerns whatsoever with our local RCMP detachment. The commanding officer and all his members are doing a fantastic job for the town of Coaldale. Our problem is not with them. Our problem is with their bosses in Ottawa. And Coaldale has been unfairly picked on, in a sense that we are the only municipality with our population of just under 10,000 where we're paying 100% of the policing costs. So to put that into numbers, for our taxpayers, we're paying approximately an extra $560,000 per year for policing that we should not have to. And the provincial government stepped up to the plate and helped us by starting to give us a subsidy to cover that off. And back to our taxpayers, for every $100,000, that's a 1% tax increase on their yearly residential tax bill. So we are here to open up dialogue with the provincial government to see what options there are with the new provincial opportunity, and we look forward to future conversations to see what we can come up with.
Is the town of Coaldale open to the idea of a municipal police force and replacing the RCMP?
We are, as a council, we have agreed to further explore the idea, and at the end of the day, again, we have nothing against our RCMP members. It's about what our pocketbook can pay when it comes to our yearly fee schedule.
One of the things that you mentioned, and you just mentioned in your answer as well, but also on the podium, was about how Ottawa hasn't really told you why you're paying 100% of the policing cost for the RCMP. You are the only municipality in all of Canada, but through your own press release, it said that you guys transitioned from Lethbridge Police Force to the RCMP, and that's the reason why. They're saying it's a new entity, so therefore you don't fall under the old rules. Is that unfair?
It's very unfair, and then to be truthful, we were previously policed by the RCMP, and we gave all the information that they required to prove our case. And I've been mayor for the last 3.5, going on 4 years, and they do not reply to my emails. They do not reply to phone calls from our office. We even had our member of parliament, Rachel Thomas, look into it for us as well, with no reply to her either.
So what's next now? So you go back to Coaldale. What comes from this press conference today, this meeting with the Premier and Minister Ellis? What do you take away from this?
Their new executive team will be coming to Coaldale, in the next 2 to 3 months to sit down with us to explore ideas. Again, for us, it's all about budget, so we have to see where the numbers come in.
Last thing, you mentioned that you aren't upset with the current status with the RCMP, but you just want to look at different options. You're more upset with Ottawa. What would your message be to Minister of Justice Sean Fraser right now about what's going on in Coaldale and how unfairly you feel?
Well, Sean is new in his position, and I would beg for him to dust off the file that says Town of Coaldale and reach out to myself via email or phone our town office, and we would love to have a Zoom meeting to explore further ideas.
Another municipality already moving through the transition from RCMP services to its own municipal police force is the city of Grand Prairie. Mayor Jackie Clayton was present for the chief's appointment and shared more about what the transition means for her community.
Mayor Clayton, we are here in Calgary for the McDougall Centre announcement from the province around municipal policing and keeping communities safe. As a municipality who has been going through the transition from RCMP to the Grand Prairie Police Service, we last chatted in November. How's the process going? We're now halfway through 2025. Last time we chatted, you had some intakes, you had some new classes started. From your perspective as mayor, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going very well. Just on Friday, we had another graduation ceremony of 4 more experienced officers. That brings us up to 36. When you talk to Chief Lacusta, he tells you with the new the group that's in class right now and a few more experienced officers that are coming, we'll be at the low 50s by September. The plan right now is ahead of schedule. Late October of 2026 will be the full transition. That's the date right now, and it's going very well, ahead of schedule, and we're really pleased to see how that's going.
One of the things I'm hearing from mayors when I speak to them is they're watching what's going on in Grand Prairie. And we talked about this when we last chatted as well, but you're kind of the test pilot to see how this transition works. Has there been bumps in the last 6 months since we last chatted, or has it been smooth sailing since we last chatted as well?
Well, I'd say it's reasonable to expect that there's always a little bit of a learning curve. Being the first community has its pros and its cons, and for us, the subscription of people that are interested is through the roof. And so the Premier mentioned it today in our first class of inexperienced recruits, 200 applicants for 14 positions. And so to see that interest in really being part of a public safety initiative that is at the local level, local oversight, local input, and providing local solutions is really encouraging. We've also, in the experience piece, seen RCMPs come over. We've seen members from Toronto and other municipal services across the country, and it's a great a mix of people that are coming to the detachment, and it's building as planned. And I think that right now a lot of municipalities are watching, but it's also timing. It's there's a lot of work that went into it ahead of our decision. We did our police model review, our service review. We did a transition plan, and so now all this information will be great resources for municipalities who might be interested in transitioning.
One of the big things is if you're on time. And are you on time? Because I'm hearing reports that you're actually ahead of schedule right now, and that's good. And then on the flip side, how's that integration between the RCMP and the GPSP going? Because they're working side by side. They're not just working by themselves right now, but they have to be working side by side. How's that going? Do you know when you chat with the chief or when you chat with the chair?
Yeah, I chat with the commission chair regularly. I chat with the chief regularly, the superintendent of the RCMP. I would say that it's realistic that the integration of services is unique in how it's structured. The GPPS is serving certain capacities. The RCMP are serving certain capacities. The senior leadership of both teams are meeting regularly to make this transition really smooth. The members that are still in Grand Prairie have an opportunity, if they wish to, transition over time. I would say that right now, yes, it's absolutely ahead of schedule, but this can't go quickly just because we want it to. This needs to be done correctly. This wasn't a decision that was made on saving money or an anti-RCMP sentiment. The RCMP that live in Grand Prairie and have for many, many years have served our community well. This is about providing a different type of public safety for our community, and we're really looking forward as a transition continues to see that integration and the other pieces that the GPPS will take on.
What's the next 6 months look like? We have an election coming up, but what do you want to see the process go through over the next 6 months as we head into 2026?
Yeah, I think it's really important for the GPPS to still have a strong presence in our community, for the residents of Grand Prairie to get to know who they are. They are community members. They have chosen Grand Prairie as their place to live and work, and I think that's extremely important. You will see more exposure of them as the force continues to grow, more GPPS cars on the street, more members, and really what we'll watch for is hitting those targets as we get closer. The graduation classes of newly educated members and the experienced officers. And so as those graduation classes continue to happen and we build the force, we're looking to see those numbers grow.
To get a broader look on what this means for rural municipalities, we reached out to Rural Municipalities of Alberta President Carl Westerland for her reaction.
President Westerland, the Premier and Minister Ellis announced earlier this week the new sheriff around the Alberta Sheriff's Police Service, which is going to be rolling out here soon, and that means they're asking municipalities if they want to join on board to come on board as RMA. Are you in favor of transitioning from the RCMP into an independent police force?
As an association right now, we have a strong resolution on our book saying that we're opposed to the provincial police force unless they can show us that either we can increase service to our rural residents or there'll be a cost savings. And so far with the announcements, we've seen no details on exactly how the funding is going to be distributed, how more officers and boots on the ground are going to make a change. So, I try and be really frank about the conversation. You've got a detachment, you live 40 minutes from the detachment. We choose to live where we do, we know that. But at the same time, don't tell me that giving me 20 new officers is going to fix that I live 40 minutes from an office or from a detachment, I'm going to get better service. We're not. And you know what, the other issue with this too is that the root of the problem isn't with the RCMP or with EPS or CPS or the other municipal police forces that are in existence. The biggest problem that we're facing is our judicial problem, and creating a new provincial police force isn't going to solve that problem, which I think is the root of everything that we're facing in rural Alberta.
One of the concerns that I've been hearing from more rural communities, but also smaller urban centers, is those urban centers who have those RCMP detachments, who move away from the RCMP detachments to a more municipal police force. Those other communities may be left out in the lurch, and they may have to look at other ways that they can find policing. Are you hearing that same concern? And if so, are you reiterating that to the Premier and the Deputy Minister?
It's definitely a concern that we're hearing about, and it's part of the conversation that we are trying to have. But again, I haven't been shy about saying the announcement this week, both Ellis and the Premier had made. We knew nothing about it. We were not pre-briefed on it. We had no idea it was coming. I also find it interesting that the new head of this is going to be stationed in Calgary. Now you're telling us that this is a rural issue and going to fix the rural issues, but the top dog is in one of the biggest cities in the province. It would be probably better situated closer to the rural areas where it's needed. So, time will tell. I know we're being pretty critical at the moment on this, but it's because we were asking really good questions. We want to know what the changes are about, and if you can show us the plan, show us the details, and show us how this is going to work, I think we would be a little bit more able to receive the change that they're proposing.
And finally, we spoke with Alberta Municipalities President Tyler Gandam, who offered his insights into what this new agency means for urban centers across the province.
Tyler, thank you so much for chatting with me. The province released their new sheriffs under the Alberta Sheriff's Police Service. From Alberta municipality standards, this is a step forward that Alberta municipalities has not been calling for, but what did you take from the announcement that the Premier and Minister Ellis made earlier last month?
Same thing that we've been asking all along. What is the plan going to be? Where's the budget? Who's paying for it? The values, the missions. How is this going to work with RCMP, or how are our PFMs or the Provincial Police Service Agreement members going to be working with the sheriffs and the police of jurisdiction in their communities?
Well, that's the one area that it seems to be a bit of a hot topic right now. There are some municipalities who are looking at other options outside the RCMP, and that could leave other smaller urban municipalities out in the lurch who rely on the RCMP and might have to cover the cost. What is Alberta municipalities doing to ensure that those members who don't have an active detachment, who could see their detachment move away because of another municipality's effort to say we want an independent municipal police force?
Right. So we continue to work with the province. We were working with MNP on a study that they were doing. Some of the questions we asked about were, so with the varying levels of service between municipalities, we were seeing that municipalities policed by the same detachment were getting different levels of service and different levels of reporting. And so making sure there's a clear understanding of what they can expect. And again, what is going to happen when or if a municipality is no longer with the RCMP or are under a sheriff policing program? How does that affect the neighboring municipality and the counties that are also served by that detachment?
Were you aware of the announcement that was going to be made with Minister Ellis and the new chief of the Alberta Sheriff's Police Service?
Not directly. I knew that this has been something that's been in the works for a little while. And again, looking for clarification on the provincial police service that may or may not be coming, and making sure that the municipalities' needs are being met. We didn't oppose a provincial police service. What we had proposed was what they were offering at the time. We weren't going to see any cost savings. We weren't going to see an increase in the level of service. So it left a lot of things to question, and without those being answered, it makes it really hard to support a provincial police service moving forward.
Some of your members are telling me off the record, but even some on the record, that they're watching what's happening in Grand Prairie before they make any decision about a municipal police force. Is Alberta municipalities watching closely what Mayor Clayton is doing to ensure that what goes on there could be potentially transposed to other municipalities if they wish?
Yeah, absolutely. And so Dylan Bress, he's a councillor in Grand Prairie. He's on our board as well. We're asking him regularly how things are going with the transition. On their end, things seem to be going well. They seem to be moving ahead of schedule, hopefully under budget. But for sure, just like every other municipality who are even considering a municipal police service, looking to see what happens in Grand Prairie.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Municipal Affairs. Now, we hope you've enjoyed today's conversations and gained some valuable insights. To stay in the loop with all of our latest episodes and rewatch or re-listen to past episodes, be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform or by following us on YouTube or all social media channels. Now, if you want to learn more about the communities and the people that we feature on this show and our sister shows, Cross Border Interviews and the Political Trenches Local Government at Work, be sure to head over to our website at crossborderinterviews.ca. Now, your support means the world to us, so share this episode with your friends, your family, and yes, even your community, and help keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll be back with a brand new episode of Municipal Affairs shortly.